Masoom, I just want to ask one other question. What is the difference between Khafz and female genital mutilation? Because we see a lot of debate is evolving around this issue that female genital mutilation is a crime and a human rights violation. However, Khafz is something which is different from what female genital mutilation is. So, is there a difference between the two?
That's a very interesting question and a very important question also. And you're right, there's a huge debate, and there's a whole section which is saying that Khafz is not female genital mutilation. So here I'd like to point out to the World Health Organization definition of FGM, and there's a very clear, precise, concise and comprehensive definition of FGM by the World Health Organization, which clearly states that it's the alteration, the cutting or the mutilation of the female genitals for non-medical reasons. Specifically, it goes into the types of FGM, and here the type 1A of FGM as prescribed and defined by World Health Organization is the cutting of the clitoral hood or a part of the clitoris, which is type 1A, and this is exactly what Khafz is, the cutting of the clitoral hood of the girl child.
So there is definitely no difference between what FGM is defined by WHO and
absolutely it falls under the category of type 1A. Many a times the advocates of Khafz and FGM say that the practice is so slight that there's just a nick or a prick of the clitoral hood. But that is also covered under the FGM definition of WHO, which is type 4, which says that even a nick or a prick of the clitoral hood and the clitoris is a form of female genital mutilation. It harms the child, it harms the woman physically, psychologically and sexually.
Thank you, Masoom. I would just like to inform you all that the Supreme Court is going to hear the matter relating to FGM today, and we are hoping that this is Khafz and Khatna and FGM, whatever the name may be, but the procedure involved in it is considered a gross violation of a human body, and it is considered a crime and declared
an
offense.
Can I add one more
thing?
Yes,
please.
Because since we are talking about the PIL in the court, within the community and in India today, the government has said in many occasions that the practice of female genital mutilation is crime under the Indian laws, and specifically under Articles 319 to 326 of the Indian Penal Code. So it is a crime in India, and within our community also the practice has been banned in countries like Australia, America, UK, France, where there are Bohras who have settled. And in the year 2016, there were a spate of resolutions which were passed by the Bohra Jamaats, the religious bodies of administrative bodies of Bohras, which clearly said that the practice of Khafz in our community falls under the definition of FGM, and therefore the Bohras living in these countries and living in these parts of the world are advised not to practice Khafz. So there was a very clear message and a directive which has been issued in these countries, yet in India there was no such directive, and on the contrary, in India the practice is being propagated. So there is a big contradiction out here, because on the one hand the government is saying that the practice of FGM falls under the IPC provisions and under the provisions of POCSO, and yet the practice continues.